The power steering pump and reservoir are located at the left front of the motor, red arrow. Remove the front engine cover, yellow arrow, by pulling it straight up and off the center of the piece. Remove the left air duct by compressing it off the air filter housing and then slipping it off the duct, green arrow. Make sure you carefully clean around the cap and reservoir, red arrow. Introducing dirt into the system is as bad as getting air in. Begin by using a fluid pump or turkey baster and sucking out as much of the old fluid as you can. If you are using a turkey baster to remove the fluid, you will not be able to get much out due to the size of the opening in the reservoir. I really recommend getting a fluid pump for this job. Do not start the car once you have sucked the fluid out, but only after you have added new fluid. If you manage to remove enough fluid that the level falls below the resupply line for the pump, you can introduce air into the system, and then you will have to follow all of the procedures for bleeding. Also, use the correct fluid for your system. While the system does not hold a large amount, if you're going to suck off fluid and replace it several times, you should be prepared to use a little more than if you're just refilling it. Once you run the procedures a few times, the old and new fluids will mix and you will be removing some of the new fluid as well. Fill the reservoir until the level is approximately 10 millimeters below the upper edge, red arrow. Now start the motor and let it run. Remember to keep checking the level and looking for air bubbles. If you are doing it correctly, you will not see any bubbles or foam in the system. If you see foam in the system, let the system rest by shutting it off and leaving it for a couple of hours. If you are not seeing foam, begin turning the steering wheel side to side and lock to lock to help distribute the fluid through the system. If you are seeing foam, unfortunately you will need to follow the procedures for bleeding as you've got air into the system. If no foam is present, shut off the vehicle and repeat the entire procedures. Never drain the reservoir with the motor running and never run the motor with the system drained. After the first several drains and fills, you will begin to see the fluid change color. Remember, with this method, you will not get all of the old fluid out of the system, but this will get most of it and save you hours and hours of work removing and disassembling components. Thanks for watching. Click here to view the original article along with hundreds of other DIY content for your car.